Hey everybody, Nathan Ronen, CFA here, with what I think will be a very interesting update for all candidates in the CFA program and for those candidates or potential candidates who are considering going through the CFA journey. And this is a question that I won't say that I get this question every day because that would be really an exaggeration, but I get it frequently. I really do. And I'm always having to sort of explain it. So I figured I'd put this video together. And the question is the CFA worth it? Is it worth my time, my energy, my money? Here's in my head. It's a great question, and I'm going to try to answer it, not as a prep provider, but as a CFA charter holder myself, and, do it as honestly as I can. If you would like to continue receiving these updates, please press the subscribe button now and the notifications bell so that you can receive these updates on a weekly or bi-weekly basis as I post them on social media, YouTube, whatever, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. Okay, hey Nathan, I'm considering the CFA program, or Nathan, I've been going through the CFA program and I'm kind of on the fence. Is the CFA really worth it? Well, I'm going to be very direct. It really depends on what angle you're coming from. If you're looking at the CFA designation as a replacement for work experience, no. It's never going to replace work experience or your value as an employee. Work experience always speaks louder. Is it going to make you more money? Not necessarily. There are plenty of people who make money and make lots of money, and if that's your only goal, you can do it without the CFA designation. And then there are plenty of people who get the CFA designation, don't make a lot of money, or they do make a lot of money. So I wouldn't look at it as a sure definition or correlation to making a lot of money, regardless of what statistics might show you or how you need to ask how those statistics were derived anyway. So I wouldn't do it for that reason. And then I also get, say, well, if you've got nothing better to do and you have no interest in finance and you're just a great exam taker and you like to collect designations and put them after your name, I probably wouldn't pursue it either, because without several years of work experience related to finance, you're not going to get the letters after your name. You'll get the fact that you passed the exams, but you won't get the letters after your name, which is a issue for many people. They go through the level 1, level 2, level 3, and they pass each exam, and then suddenly they can't use the designation, or they can't get the designation, and they're just sitting there saying passed all 3 levels or cleared all 3 levels. So wouldn't do it under those circumstances. But as I said, this is a question that I hear a lot, and it's usually from candidates in the program, people who are considering going into the CFA journey. I hear it a lot from professionals out in the industry, okay, where they, are stuck in all kinds of systems where promotions are going to, relatives or friends, and it's not based on results. So a lot of people will say to me, Nathan, well, at our company, our chief investment officers, our CEO, our major portfolio managers, they don't have it, and they're doing just fine. They're earning a very good living. Another one I'll hear is, well, people with no finance background are actually managing portfolios at my firm, and they don't have the CFA designation. That's true too. Many times that could be the case. I'll also hear the excuse, well, CFA is not really a real, hands-on experience. It's the materials, all the readings are very academic. They're outdated. They're all the stuff from, back in the 1950s, 1960s. Or I'll also hear things like, well, in the country where I live, wherever that may be, it doesn't help. Well, I'd like to sort of put this to bay a little bit, because There are some valid statements that people are making, but again, it all depends on context. So if you ask me, does the CFA designation have any value? The answer is it's like anything else. It has value if it's used correctly and it's pursued by the right people. First of all, the CFA designation, in my opinion, is not truly 100% academic, because in order to put the letters CFA after your name, it requires you to have a number of years or number of hours of full-time relevant work experience, meaning that it's got to be related somehow to the portfolio management decision-making process. The CFA designation is not really earned, in a classroom setting. I mean, yeah, you can go for prep classes in a classroom setting or live sessions if they still exist anymore, but you don't earn it in a classroom like you do with a MBA or a JD or, any of the other designations or certifications that are out there. You earn it by actually solving real problems in the real world, okay? That's very important, and that's a very big distinction between the CFA and other designations or other certifications, okay? Also, in terms of the CFA exam, it's got global recognition, okay? It's not a US-based exam, it's not a European-based exam, it's really a global exam. And the CFA Institute has strived very hard to make it that, and my hands, down to them. I think they've done a great job. Because what you see a lot of times is that major firms in London, in Dubai, in Singapore, in New York, in Frankfurt, wherever, especially major financial centers, when they're interviewing you, don't really care who you're related to, who's your father, who's your mother, who's your sister, who's your brother, who your cousin is. They only care if you can manage capital, if you can work well under pressure, and if you know how to take risk, if you're a good risk manager. So if you're working in a job market locally that is not rewarding you, okay, for competence, but it's rewarding you for the connections that you have, well, that's not really an issue or a problem with the CFA designation. That's an issue or a problem with the system where you are actually working, okay, the country that you're working. And if somebody that you know in the country that you're living gets a role or a major role because of family connections or because of nepotism, if you will, or politics overall, and they tell you, hey, what are you pursuing the CFA for? My God, it's so overrated. Well, they probably just didn't do it themselves, or they tried to do it and they couldn't succeed, so they're kind of like what we say, sour grapes, okay? So the CFA program shouldn't be looked at as a resume enhancer or only as a resume enhancer. Because again, I'm telling you, people see that you have no work experience, very little work experience, irrelevant work experience. Just because you have the letters CFA after your name doesn't mean you're going to get the job, okay? And also, if you don't know how to interview well, and you don't present yourself well, or you come across as an arrogant, person, a lot of times people will select the non-CFA charter holder over you because they feel that they can get along with them better. I mean, you don't want to work with 8 hours a day or 80 hours a week, with somebody who's very arrogant and annoying, even if they have the CFA designation. So the CFA program does change more than your resume. When I think of what the CFA has done for me, or the way I look at it, is it changes your thinking, no doubt about it. It hones your analytical skills. It also helps you to reveal red flags that other people who are not charter holders can oftentimes miss. And it also helps you to look through complex finance situations, and help to make educated decisions, okay? That's something that's really, really, really important to understand, okay? Okay. So if you are also maybe working for, and I've heard this from people that work for the Big Four, okay, for the Big Four accounting firms, and they've been told by their partners or managing partners or whoever, that they believe that the CFA charter is just about doing all kinds of valuations and getting to be an expert in Excel. Well, that partner or that person that's telling you that is really focusing more on their need to have somebody who's very technical, like a little, cog in the wheel, that you're just going to be a cog in the wheel. And they're not really interested in developing or helping you to develop your potential to lead or to think critically or even to manage capital. They're just looking at you as a device or a little cog in the wheel, as I said. So, Nathan, is the CFA worth it? In a nutshell, yes. Again, if it's going to be used correctly. If you're not going to be in finance, if you're not going to pursue, a position in the financial services world or in portfolio management or analytical analysis, then I probably would say you're wasting your time. But that would be with any field. Okay. But yes, it is worth it. And even if you're operating in an environment, in a country where being rational or being logical isn't really the method of operation, and there's a lot of corruption in your country. I mean, there are countries that still have a lot of corruption in their business models. Well, still the CFA can help you out. Now, as I said before, if you are just money-oriented, money, dollars, or whatever, euros, or yen, or whatever, renminbi, then basically you really don't need the CFA charter, okay? What you could do is if you're just totally focused on money, you can go up to people, you could try to sell them whatever you got, tell them what they want to hear, okay, and hope that you will profit from them by deceiving them and, if you will, profiting from their trust, okay? When I worked for a brokerage house, a schlock brokerage house on Long Island many years ago, I couldn't do that. I could literally not pitch bad stocks that I knew were going nowhere to widows and orphans, as we say, to people that didn't really have a lot of money and squander their retirement savings just so I could make a profit. Was I good at it? Yes. Could I sell? Yes. But could I actually wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and say, hey, I just wheedled a widow out of her entire retirement savings, but added $10,000 to my income for the month? No, I couldn't do that, okay? So I can't really, but if you're that kind of person, you don't need the CFA for it, okay? You could just do that on your own. But if you want to build something more real, you want to build something that's considered global, okay, something that is going to endure, in my opinion, the test of time, then the CFA designation is really one of the smartest bets you can really make. I think a lot of times charter holders will see things more clearly. They don't always have to. Again, you got charter holders who can pass all the exams, have work experience, and have no common sense. But overall, most charter holders, in my opinion, they can see clearly. If you're the kind of person that just fixates on shortcuts, then, again, I don't think the CFA or a career in portfolio management is the best thing for you. Okay. So that is my 2 cents on whether the CFA is worth it or not. I hope that it gave you some insight, from my own personal experience. But again, don't do the CFA journey for the wrong reasons. Think it out before you take the step. Talk to people, not on Reddit, who are anonymous, but talk to people like myself and find out their experience, other charter holders. Is it worth it? Why? Get more than 1 or 2 or 3 opinions, 4 or 5. Talk to a bunch of people because it is time, it is money, it is energy, and you don't want to squander that or waste that. I'm happy to reach out to you. You can always go on my website. You can contact me. My number's there, my email, Nathan Ronen again, and it's Chalk and Board, CHALK and AND, board, BOARD, chalkandboard.org. Thanks for listening, and if you've got any comments or other suggestions, please feel free to type it in. Okay, look forward to helping you out, and good luck with your CFA exam preparation.